everyone, my name is Timothy Lee Grant, and I want to start a new video series here on YouTube, which is looking into open source projects. So, this is actually something that I've wanted to do for a fairly long time, and I've failed consistently multiple times. Whenever I try to go and look into an open source project, I always just get lost. So, I'll tell you the first story of the first time that I started looking into open source. So, I just graduated. My degree was Bachelor's of Science in Electrical and Computer Engineering, minor in Computer Science. Okay, so I just graduated and I was applying for a ton of jobs. No one was hiring. I couldn't find a job. This was 2023. Bad market. And specifically, I was trying to get into a software engineering position. And applying. I ended up applying to over 1,000 companies, and then I finally got my job. But it took me over 1,000 companies and over 6 months. Now, during that time, once I started getting rejected and rejected and rejected and rejected, I was like, okay, something needs to change. I'm going to try to figure out how to build my skills and become a better software engineer. And I was thinking, oh, I know, I can go and get into open source. That'll be fun. It will be really helpful for me to learn software engineering. And number three, it gives me it shows evidence of my capability. So I was like, okay, great. It had all three. I'm going to do it. So I went online. I found an open source project. I tried to get it onto my computer, and then I just got dead in the water because what happened was there was like 20 different files. Everything was there was 20 is an understatement. There was like 100 files. How do they interact with each other? And they're in different directories, and how does everything interact with each other? I had no idea how to even get it to start. I had, like, looking at it, okay, I got it onto my IDE. Then what? I had no idea at all what I could do. And so I struggled and struggled and struggled. And eventually, I forget what happened. Either I moved on and decided to move to do something else that was more efficient with my time, more learning per unit time, or I got my job. I can't remember the exact timelines. But essentially, I tried and I got nowhere in that. Then a few days ago, I tried again to start. I was thinking, okay, great. I am going to do a video series on it. And so I tried to do it. And I was trying to do PyTorch, a very similar problem. And I ended up just getting like super down on myself about it. So in this video, I am going to try to find a different library, a different open source project, something that might be a little bit easier. We're going to see, we're going to play around with it. The purpose of this series here is number one, I'm trying to become a better software engineer. So I said that I got a job. My job is a firmware engineer. So I am very much in the hardware of things. So I am talking to specific hardware components. I am figuring out how to communicate with them from a microcontroller over to the components which are placed physically on the PCB. So that's kind of the role that I'm at. Well, I have so many gaps in my knowledge for real software engineering. I've been talking to a lot of my friends who are real software engineers and asking them what are the important skills, what are the important, if we want to have like a, what is this? But like, see here, like here's the microcontroller, and then this doesn't have very many components on it, but like it, maybe if I wanted to talk to one of these components, I could use whatever protocol, and yeah. But anyways, so I've been talking to a lot of my friends and asking them, okay, well, how do you, like, what is software engineering? What skills are important? And they've been telling me a lot of stuff, and I have a full series on YouTube called Software Engineering Fundamentals, where in those series, I go and I try to learn all of those really important skills. I go and I say, okay, I heard something called design patterns. What are they? And then I go and investigate them. And that series kind of goes and fills in all of those holes within software engineering. Well, one huge hole that I have is in school, everything that I did was on one file. What I mean by that is I'll have my main, let's say whatever, it's dot .py. I'll have my main dot .py, and then I will write a lot here, like whoa, 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 right? Like it'll be huge, and I'll have a whole bunch of functions, and all of my functions will be in this one file called main.py or main.c or whatever it is, right? And this file will accomplish one task. That is to do the homework assignment or do the project. And so I go and I do my project alone. I'm the only person doing it, right? Because if you do it with someone else, that's cheating. So in school, you're forced to do it by yourself, no collaboration, and it's only one file. You do it such that you're able to complete the homework assignment. You send out that homework assignment, you get the good grade, you're golden. You never think about it again. It's done, it's over. Okay? That's school. And you're doing whatever it is, like networking, it's communicating through the OSI model, right? Like you have some assignment that is lays out what your project needs to do, you just do it. Okay, well now in work, okay, I am a team of one. So I am in the hardware department and I am the only firmware engineer in that hardware department. So likewise, I have I don't have other people that I'm collaborating with. It's a team of one, which means that I don't need tracking. I don't need like all of these collaboration skills. And all of that doesn't really apply to my job because I'm a team of one. Furthermore, my project, it is kind of, it has more than one file, but not, it's like, not really. It's just an embedded project. It's an embedded uh, software program that goes onto a microcontroller, and this microcontroller, as I said, talks to other components, right? Obviously, not going to talk too much about what the company does or their uh, any of the projects, but my my job is very much just here's my microcontroller, here's my environment, and I talk to components. Now, that doesn't really that's not. Let me turn up the brightness a little bit so I can see myself. Okay, so that's not teaching me the skills of a large scale software engineering project where you have a ton of files, things are interacting with each other. You don't know, you're making these calls, and it's very ambiguous of what's going on. Okay, so that's kind of what I'm hoping to start learning and exploring and becoming better at in these videos. So these open source videos. So I am going to go and I'm going to try to find an open source project. Okay. I don't know what project it is right now. I'm thinking of a specific one and we might change it. We have flexibility here, right? So these series are just to have fun, just to learn, just to try to improve our skills, become a better software engineer. So what I'm hoping is with these videos, I will be able to, with specifically the open source videos, is number one, how do you even take an open source and get it onto your machine? How do you investigate it? If you have so many files, where's your entry point? How do you run it? How do you do anything with it? Like, that's kind of what I want to do. Then, am I able to contribute anything? How does that work? What are the different, how do you use the different branches on uh, uh, GitHub and using Git branches and stuff like that? Like, there's so much that I don't know that is vitally important to being able to be a software engineer in a large scale software project. And that's what I want to get out of these series. So, the other thing with open source is when I initially failed the first time, I went online and I was thinking, okay, I'm going to go and watch some videos of other people getting into open source, other people doing contributions, other people uh, just explaining a project or something like this. I was very difficult to find. There wasn't many videos at all. So I'm like, okay, darn. And that really, I feel like, hindered me because I was hoping to be able to see an example. So with these videos, I am not an expert. I don't even know if I'll be able to do it. I'm just going to be honest. Like, if you're looking for an expert, I'm not an expert. But I am going to try my best to be able to get through open source projects. And as I said, we have flexibility here. I'm going to try JOS, JOS, okay? It's an operating system. And I remember that I had to do it in my OS2 class. I really struggled with it. Really struggled with it. Now I'm going to try to do it again this video. And hopefully, now that time has elapsed, my skills have increased, and a lot of the hurdles that I experienced when I was a senior in uh, in school, now that it's 1 year out of school, I'm hoping that my skills have significantly increased. So that's kind of what I am hoping is going to happen. I don't know if that's actually going to happen. Maybe I will need to, say, all right, well, let's change projects, or I'm not getting very far, I'm not improving much, then maybe I'm going to have to make a decision like, hey, I this is not a good allocation of my time. So I don't know what's going to happen, but this is kind of my plan. These are my path forward. And as you can tell, like, this is also going to be more of a conversational video. I'm going to be just having fun, trying to enjoy things. Work has definitely been like very stressful recently. My project isn't working, so I'm just like racking my brain about how to get it working. I've been just like stumbling. Um, so work has been stressful. I'm trying to get that, and so I want to come home and have a fun time. So we're just gonna be having a good time. So let's start. Let's first off minimize me, okay? And now I have this main.py. I don't want that. Let's just get rid of that. Move to trash. Yes. All right. So I have this second, and second is let's see, desktop practice. So I have open source here, and you see first attempt. This was the PyTorch. This was a few days ago. Didn't work out. Now, second attempt, that's where we are here. That's this one. So let's go to, yeah, see, what are easy open source? JOS operating system, I think here, right? So it's by MIT, and I remember that there are different, there's like, I remember that there's like lab 1, lab 2, lab 3, but I can't remember exactly what. Can I see different branches? So there's only the one branch. Okay. Let me. So the first thing that I'm noticing is that there's a whole bunch of different interesting. Okay. But anyways, so there's a whole bunch of different repositories. Which one is the official one? I'm not really sure. So, I mean, this one looks a little bit more full, right? Or should we just go with the top one? I'm gonna what do we do? What do we do? Okay, boot kern release lab 1, view all files. Okay, so I remember having to use Docker. I also remember having to use this QEMU. Okay. But this doesn't seem like it's the full thing because it's only lab 1. Do we want to go in and do the other, like, we don't want just lab 1, right? We want lab 1, 2, 3, and 4, 5. Wow, there's a lot. So I think we want this one. Yeah. I think we want this one. So let's clone this one. Okay. New terminal. Let's get rid of this. So git clone here. All right, so now we're gonna get a whole bunch of different files here. Okay, so we got all of those files. Now, on our local machine, we have lab 1, lab 2, lab 3, and each of these have different like boot, configuration, file system, right? So there's a whole bunch going on right now. So let us first see if we can go in here, read some documentation of how to actually instantiate things, because I remember having to use a VA grant. Woohoo! Okay, so I remember having to use like the QEMU, but I can't remember exactly how to do things. So this repo contains all my solutions to the various exercises in MIT 6828 course. Run the JOS lab inside a virtual machine. So we need to get a virtual machine, and do we need to use Docker? Like, was Docker a thing that we need to actually utilize? I can't remember. So you need to have VA Grant installed on your local machine. The whatever that is, VA Grant file contains a configuration of Centros virtual machine in which all tools necessary to run JOS and XV6 are installed, including MIT's modified version of QEMU. To create an SSH, to create and SSH into the VM, simply execute the following JOS directory. Okay. Do I actually want to do that? Like, what does that mean? Before I do that, I'm going to go here and say, what do these commands do? Okay, let's just check. Okay, these commands are related to VA Grant, a tool for building and managing virtual machine environments in a single workflow. Okay? So, VA Grant up, this command boots up and provisions the virtual machine defined in your VA Grant file. Do I have a VA Grant file? I don't think I have one, right? Oh, here's VA Grant. Let me just like, what is this? Okay, so here's my VA Grant file. All VA Grant configuration is done below. The 2 in VA Grant configuration configures the configuration version. We support older styles for backward compatibility. Please don't change it unless you know what you're doing. I don't know what I'm doing, so I'm not going to change it, but I'm going to look at it. So, VA Grant configure to do, well, okay, so it does something. It does something. Should we just run the command? Should we just do it? Installation. VA Grant reads the VA Grant file in the current directory to, oh, okay, so in the current directory. So do I need to, like, where am I? I'm in second, right? Do I need to, like, go into JOS? So, let's see, pwd ls. So yeah, I just have JOS. I think I need to probably, like, cd JOS, right? I'm going to try running the command from outside, and then if that doesn't work, I'm going to go in. Okay. Provisioning. Grant sets up the virtual machine according to the configuration, which might include setting up networks, shared folders, and running provision scripts. Okay. Boot up. The VM is started, typically using a provider like VirtualBox, VMware, or other provider in the VA Grant file. So, what are we running? VirtualBox here. Okay. So VA Grant SSH, this command allows you to SSH into the running vgrant virtual machine. Here's what it does. So even just thinking about it, like, yeah, no wonder I was so confused last year when I was in class trying to do this. Like, yeah, no wonder. Okay? Like, the previous video that I just did, about an hour ago, it was my software engineering fundamentals video series, and one of the things that I was trying to learn is virtual environments, virtual machines, and like what is a Python interpreter and all of this stuff, right? Which is very much similar to, I think, what's going on here. So we get a double boost. So actually this is pretty good. It will allow us to help reinforce those ideas in our head. Like, what is a virtual machine? How does it work? How do you utilize it? And apparently I have to SSH into it, which kind of makes sense because I guess in VirtualBox I would log in, and now I am just SSHing into a machine, just like I would SSH into a machine which is on the OSU servers when I was in school. Okay, sure. SSH connection. VA Grant establishes an SSH connection to the running VM, allowing you to interact with it via the command line. So login. You are logged in with the VM as a user, often VA Grant by default, and you can perform tasks directly on the VM. So this brings up a lot of questions that I have. So I'm apparently creating a virtual machine. How much memory am I allocating? How much, like, am I going to crash my computer, right? How do I delete it if I don't want it? I'm going to start writing these down. Okay. I have some questions about creating this VM. Okay. 1. How much resources does this VM take? 2. How do I log into it again once I have logged out from the SSH session? how do I delete it, the VM, if I don't want it anymore? Okay. So, combining the commands, the double and sign combines the commands into a single line, meaning the second command will only execute if the first command succeeds. Okay. So, VA grant starts up and provisions the VM. So this is, we're creating the virtual machine. If VA grant is successful, then we will SSH into it. VA grant boots and provisions the VM based on the VA grant file. So actually, do we have, okay, so 2048 and 2 CPUs. So we do have, that's how we know how much memory and CPUs, this is the resources that we're allocating to our virtual machine. Okay, and we're configuring our virtual box. Okay, then what are we doing? Configure shell inline. Okay, yum install something. Okay, all right, and then here's QEMU right here. So I think that this is going to get the specific QEMU file. So, all right, how much resources? The resource allocation of the VMs are specified in the VA grant file, which we just looked at. Okay, by default, VMs may have small amount of memory, 512 megabytes, but you can customize this in the VA grant file. Yep, so the number of CPUs might default to 1. It was specified that it was 2. Okay. The disk space depends on the base box you are using. Okay. How do I log into it once I've logged out? Once I've ended the SSH session, how do I log back into it? And let me actually charge, because I'm halfway on my battery. Okay. So, to log back into the VM after logging out from an SSH session, you simply use the VA grant SSH command from the directory containing your VA file. Okay, so I'm able to just go in and do VA grant SSH again from where that file is located. This one, whatever it is, VA grant file. So this is actually something that I was talking about a little bit in my last video, is whenever with software engineering, if you have a lot of little gaps in your knowledge, you try to do a project and you just get stonewalled. Like, you just can't figure out how to get past it because there are so many gaps in your knowledge. If you have just one gap, you're able to fill it in really quickly. If you have 2 gaps, you're able to fill that in really quickly. But if you are not understanding a lot of different fundamental things, it's very difficult to understand what's going on. I think because what I'm trying to do right now is not only understand this project right here, the JOS, and open source, and all of this. I'm also trying to analyze, like, okay, why did I fail, or why did I struggle so much when I was in school? And how do I move forward more efficiently? How do I make sure that I don't have that experience again? And I think what was going on when I was in school is I didn't, for example, virtual machines, I had no idea how they actually worked, what they really were. I didn't use them. I had no idea. Now that I'm out of school and I have a little bit of time and I'm making these YouTube videos, that's what I do in my spare time. I don't hang out with friends. I do software engineering YouTube videos. Fun. Anyways, So, uh, now that I have free time, what I'm doing is I'm trying to go and learn a lot of those things that I feel that I'm missing. And one of those things is virtual machines, virtual environments, containers like Docker containers. All of these things I don't know anything about. And so I've been using my free time to try to understand them, try to get better at them. And now I feel like I am able to take a step forward in this project. Whereas a year ago, if I were to have started this project, I feel like I would have just been at an impasse right now. I would have been like, I don't understand. What is this VA grant? What's this file? What's going on here? I have no idea, and I would have stressed myself out. So I think that there's so much value in what I'm doing right now in my software engineering fundamentals video, where I am trying to investigate all of those concepts which have tripped me up in the past and that are very important for software engineering. So I'm extremely thankful that I am taking the time to dedicate to learning those concepts, even though obviously, like, I would rather be out playing with my friends, going talking about philosophy with all of my friends, having a good time, just relaxing, enjoying life. Obviously, I'd enjoy that more than doing figuring out what a container is and how to do do virtualization and all of this. But the thing is, like, okay, do you want to be a good software engineer? Do I want to be able to make it, right? Like, I guess that's the fundamental question. So, yes, I am very glad that I am putting in the effort, putting in the time, and moving forward to fill in my gaps in software in these important concepts. And it really highlights the fact that it is important and it's something that you do need to just dedicate time to and not just, oh, I'll pick it up on a project or something like that. Now, obviously, what we're doing here is picking it up on a project, but fill in your gaps. The other thing that I need to definitely do is try to make sure that I don't get too flustered when I don't understand something. Like, what is QMU? What is this VA grant? What is all of this? Like, when I was in school, I think I got way too flustered. I was like, I don't understand what's going on. I just spiraled into like I have no idea how to move forward. I need to figure out how to better take on that stress, better take on being in an unknown location. And again, with these videos, I'm hoping to practice that because I don't know what I'm doing right now. I have no idea if this is like, I have no idea where I am. I'm in an unknown. So I'm trying to practice kind of feeling that out, learning things, and moving forward, even when I have no idea what's going on. So those are some little notes. Let's get back to the project. So I can just SSH back into the virtual machine. So I have a virtual machine. It it can be like instantiated and I can SSH into it from this file. This file is kind of like the settings and will allow me to SSH into it. Once I get out, I can get back in. How do I delete it? To delete the VM and free up resources, you can use VA grant destroy command. Okay, so I can just destroy this. Navigate to where it lives, destroy the VM. VA grant destroy. This command will stop and delete all traces of the VM created by VA grant. Awesome. So I think we are ready to run that command. What do you guys think? Let's I actually don't want to do. Should we do both at the same time, or should we just do the VA grant up? Let's just see. Command not found. VA grant. Okay. I think it's probably because we are not in the right location. So let me do cd JOS, okay, ls, and now I have this VA grant file. So now I'm going to run this. Okay. No. So we're going to come here. Nope. We're going to come here. Okay. Is not installed or is accessible from your current shell session. VA grant version. Okay. So VA grant version. Oh, well, it says if it's not installed. Okay, so I'm going to say I need to install it. I am on a Mac. So I'm trying to figure out, okay, recommended for Mac OS. This one. Download from the official, okay. Check system path. I don't need, I'm going to just do this. Homebrew. Okay, needs. Press enter and continue. Okay. Ooh, my tea almost fell. Updating Homebrew. All right. Okay, so there we go. Run these commands in your terminal to add Homebrew to your path. Do I actually have to do that? Like, no, let's see. Homebrew is run entirely by, okay, whatever. That's just asking for donations. Next step. Run these commands in your terminal to add Homebrew to your path. Like, do I have to actually do that? Can I just I don't know. I'm gonna see if I need to actually do that. If VA Grant is installed, but you still get the error, make sure VA Grant is in your system path. You can add it to path by editing your shell configuration file. Okay. After editing source file, apply the changes, retry the command. So I'm just gonna try redoing the command. VA Grant version. Darn. I might need to okay. So can I just like copy and paste this? Let's see if this works. I don't. So I didn't get an error. I'm gonna see if version. No. No. Well, let's see about this. I don't necessarily want to be opening up my my like bash RC file because I don't know what's in there, and then if I have my like passwords and everything, like I don't. It seems like VA Grant is either not installed or not correctly added to your system. Okay, so I already installed it. I did that. Brew install. So you tried homebrew method. Let's double check. Pass. If VA grant is installed but not found, you might need to add it to path manually. Here's how. Find the installation path. Check where VA grant is installed using Homebrew. Okay. No available formula with name VA grant. Like, it's not in my path. Okay. Add VA grant to path. Export path. So what does this do? I don't know. I don't actually want to run that command right now because I don't know what that does. And I don't want to mess with my bash file because I also don't know what effect that will have. What will this do? Okay. And what if I just did this brew install VA grant? Like, does that actually change things? Can I just do that? That might work. Maybe this will be more fruitful. Okay. Saw something like for 1 millisecond flash on my screen. I don't know what that was all about, but okay, so echo export path. This, what does this do? This command outputs the text export path equals this. The export command sets environment variable path to include user local bin at the beginning. Okay, it needs the password. Can't tell if it's working or what. Okay. Anyways. Oh, something's working. Something's working. Okay. Here we go. So, installing base app path. Now, here's another thing. If this works, if I'm able to do the VA grant version and it sees it, we solved the problem. But we didn't understand why. Because we got an error. Okay. We got an error about something about the path. Like, what is this path? What is it doing? Why did it give me an error? Where does this error come from? Why was I unable to do it? This is a very, again, the purpose of this series is to understand the software, like, learn skills for software engineering, not just solve the problem, not just get this project working. I encountered an error. Let me just see if it did work. Let me do this and see if it worked. If it does, We still have more work to do, though. We're not done. We need to figure out, like, why. What happened? Okay, so it did work. For some reason, when I did, what was it? Brew install VA Grant. It worked. I guess it, because I'm looking here, package name here, installed at base path. So this something did a base path slash, whatever that means. Okay. Now, when I did, there's a lot of stuff here. Where was the command? This, whatever all this big thing was, it didn't work. Okay, I'm going to try to copy. And we're going to continue reading up here, this command 1. We're going to try to figure out that, but I'm formulating my second question. So, this command didn't seem to work. When I went to check the version of, was it Homebrew? Version I got okay, but hold on, this is like what? I don't even know what that is. Homebrew. This is Homebrew. This isn't VA Grant. Maybe VA Grant is part of Homebrew, like Homebrew. Okay, but then when I did I am trying to understand what the problem was and understand the concepts that are at play here. At play. Okay, that's my second question. Let's let it think, and let's go back to this one right here and try to figure out what's happening. Okay. We need some more tea. Okay. So, let's break this down. Echo export path equals user local bin $path. Double greater than signs. And this is a path to my ZSHRC file. Okay. Oh boy. So this command outputs the text. So I'm just putting this text into this file, I think. The export command sets the environment variable path to include this at the beginning, followed by the existing path value. This ensures that any executables in this location, so user's local bin, is that part of here? Like users, where is this user's local bin? I'm guessing it's on my main Mac computer. Like, not in this file, not in this VA Grant virtual machine. It is on my local global computer. So I'm not going to be going around looking in that. So the operator appends the output of the echo command to the end of the ZHS file, okay? So now source loads the new path setting. So this command re-executes this file, applying changes made to it without needing to restart the shell. Okay, so we're just restarting. Or it's restarting it without actually restarting. Now our question. It looks like the issue was related to how the VA grant was initially installed and the subsequent steps to ensure it was in the system's path. Like, I don't even know what this path is. What is path? That's going to be my follow-up question. What is this path I keep hearing about? Like, what is that? Okay. So, homebrew installation command. This one. Purpose. This command downloads and runs homebrew installation script. If homebrew was already installed or there was issues with network permissions, this command might not have worked as expected. This is just telling me after installation, you are able to check VA Grant version successfully, indicating that VA Grant was installed correctly and added to your path. Added to my path. Here we go. We keep meeting this phrase. What on earth does that mean? Homebrew. It is a package manager for macOS that simplifies the installation and management of software. When you run the Homebrew installation script, it sets up the Homebrew environment, typically in Options Homebrew. Okay. Path environment variable. Okay, so they do talk about path environment variables. And then I asked about here. So we're going to get a lot of information about this path. Good. I want to know what it is. So, path environment variables. What it is: a list of directories that the shell searches to find executable files. If a command is not found in the directory listed in path, you'll get a command not found error. Adding directories to the path ensures that the shell can find and execute commands located in those directories. This is typically done by adding lines to your shell configuration files. Okay. So VA Grant installation, homebrew method. Using homebrew to install VA Grant ensures that the package is correctly placed in the standard location. Okay. The homebrew installation, it's just a summary. Path is an environment variable in your operating system that specifies a list of directories where executable programs are located. When you type a command in the terminal, so like pwd, I'm guessing, the system uses the path variable to determine where to find the executable file for that command. Okay. So key points about path. Environment variable. Path is one of several environment variables in the system used to manage system behavior and settings. It is essentially a list of directories separated by colon. Okay. The path variable tells the shell where to look for executable files when you type a command. For example, if you type Python, the shell searches through the directories listed in path to find the Python executable. Okay, so when I type Python here, like Python, oh, I don't even have Python. Oh, that's... I do have Python, like I don't know why. Okay, so apparently I don't have Python. I have Python 3. So when I type Python, my operating system, meaning my Mac, goes to path, and I'm guessing that it's separated like by colons. So it searches Python and then the path location. It matches Python and the path location. When I type Python, it goes through all of the commands. It didn't see Python, and that's why it gave me that error. It said, hey, command not found. I don't know what Python is. I can't do it. But when I typed Python 3, it looked through and it matched Python 3, and it was able to find the associated path towards the command, or maybe a script. I don't know what Python would be, but then it just ran that script. And what I'm seeing right here is the script Python. So let me actually just exit out of this. Okay. So I think that's what's happening. The path variable tells the shell where to look. Yep, we got that. On macOS, the path variable might look something like this. So okay. The shell searches directories and modifying path. You can add directories to path to include custom locations where you have installed programs. This is done by modifying the, and we were going to modify this one, the ZSHRC. Let's say you've installed a program in users local my program bin. You want to add this directory to your path to run the program without needing to specify the full path. Does this imply that I am able to run a command that is on a local directory that is not part of my path if I give the full location? How would I do this? Okay. So again, as of right now, what I'm trying to do is, it kind of looks like we're lost right now, and that's okay. We are trying to learn as many concepts as we can. We're trying to encounter those difficulties that next time when we are doing a different project, we're going to be like, oh yeah, the path, okay, let me just figure that out. Let me just fix it, right? Like, it's not going to be a big hurdle, and we're going to be able to just smoothly go through things. Right now, and this is something that I do enjoy, not enjoy, that's not the right word. This is something that I do find comfort in, is that it is okay to struggle. It is okay to not know. If we're struggling, that means that we're learning. Obviously, I didn't understand what this path variable was. Well, if I didn't go and investigate it, if I didn't stumble into it today, if I didn't decide to do this operating system, this open source operating system project, I would have never encountered this today. But I might have encountered it in the real world when I was at work, and bam, I'm going to have a lot of trouble. So I'm glad that I'm encountering it now. And this is something that I want to do with my projects, is I hope to uncover all of those little things. All of those things that I don't understand, like path variables and virtual machines and virtual environments and containers and how to, all of that. Like, I want to blah, 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 take it all in, take it all in. And then when I'm doing my actual project, I'm able to just very smoothly go through things. And then once I hit a problem, I'm able to deal with that one problem, but it's not 50 problems. That's what I think was going on in my original time that I tried to do this operating system when I was in school. I had no idea about so many different topics, and I just kept running into walls. Well, now, awesome. Let's figure out how to do better. Let's try to find those topics that we're shaky on, and let's get solid on them, or at least get a general idea of them, right? So you can add directories to path to include custom locations where you have installed. All right. So let's say you've installed a program in users local my program bin. Okay. You can add this directory to your path to run the program without needing to specify the full path. So export path equals, and then this is the location. I guess I thought that this was the command, but I guess this is, no, this is the location. The $path is the current path, right? And then save changes in your ZH. So we take this thing, this string, and put it into our ZH, and then we reload the ZH. So now, how does it work in practice? So when we type the VA grant, the shell, okay, so shell, who is doing the searching? Shell, the shell is doing the searching. So I know in operating, and this is another thing, that there's a reason I specifically chose the JOS operating system as one of the projects that I want to do here on YouTube, which is number one, I had difficulty doing it in, I don't know why I almost said high school. That would have been crazy if I was doing this in high school. But no, in university, I had difficulty in university doing this project. So now it's kind of like I'm curious to see, is it easier? Is it better? I have 1 year of separation. Now even though I would say my job is not dealing with operating systems, it's more of, I would almost consider myself a hardware or embedded systems engineer, right? Like it's different. But I have been studying software engineering on my own time. Is it easier now? That's the first thing that I'm curious about, because that's testing my theory about what I'm saying about filling in those little holes in your knowledge. Does that actually make it where, hey, all of a sudden, why was I so confused about this? It's the first reason. Second reason is doing an operating system. The JOS is an operating system. And that teaches you a lot of these topics, like path variables, and how an operating system actually works, and what is a kernel, and what is a shell, and how does all of this work. And if I'm able to do this project successfully, oh, there we go. We got this concepts in our head, and we're able to use that understanding to be able to move, as Jeff Bezos says, step by step ferociously in our projects. Whenever we, even if we're doing higher level software engineering projects, if we get some error, well, we have a better intuitive understanding of how the computer and the operating system is actually functioning. What are path variables, right? Okay. So that's what also another reason why I was choosing this project in specific, the operating system. So, shell directories. The shell checks each directory in the path variable to find executable name VA grant, executes the command. Once the command shell executes the VA Once found, it executes that command. Okay, so path is crucial environment variables that helps your system locate and execute programs. Modifying path allows you to customize which directories the shell searches for. Okay. Properly setting up path ensures that you can run installed programs smoothly. Okay. So now my other question is, can I run it can I run a command from Oh, would that just be like I'm running a normal script? Like if I have a script that I put in a specific directory, of course I can just run it and I give the command like dot backslash and then the name of the script. Okay. See if that's what it's saying. So run the command using the full path. So if the executable is located here, you can run it by doing this. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that makes sense. I'm just running an executable. So like hello.sh, shell script, there we go, is located in this location. I can type this and it runs. That makes complete sense. Okay, so there's a script, okay, which is located, okay. By providing the full path, you tell the shell exactly where to find the executable, bypassing the need for it to be in path. Relative path with the dot backslash, okay, when you navigate to the directory, specifies the current working directory, right? Okay. So here is my script. I want to add it to the path. Tell me how to do this. Show me what the path will look like before and after, and tell me how to execute the command after I add it. Okay. So, let's walk through the steps to add this script to path. See what the path variable looks like before and after adding, and explain how to execute your script. Okay, so first let's see what the current path looks like. So echo path. I was hoping it would give me an example. I don't want to put that in my thing. Okay. Add your script. I don't think the path shouldn't have any passwords, right? I don't think so. I don't want to try it though. Okay. Add your script directory to path. To add your script directory to path, you'll modify your shell configuration. So this. So I'm just modifying this shell script. Okay. So I know that I can navigate to this location and there's going to be a file, which is this .zh or .zshrc. And I know that this is just a file. It's like a text file, okay? Then add the following line to the file. So I just add this entire thing to that file. And what is this doing? Export path equals And now scripts. So user Timothy scripts. User Timothy scripts. So that's where it lives, okay? Then that colon. So this is the file that it's located at. And then here, I don't know what this path. I thought my confusion right now is I thought that this was supposed to be like the command. Where is the command coming from? I see path. I don't see command. I don't see a command here. I don't see Python, for example. Like, save and exit. Okay. So before, once you've added it to your path, you can run the script from anywhere without specifying the full path. Okay, so I can just execute this thing. My question now is that I don't see where I added anything that says, come on, says the actual words hello.sh. How does the shell, is it just sh shell like that? How does the shell know that hello.sh is the associated command? Okay. So the magic lies in how the shell searches for executables within the directories listed in the path environment variable. So how the shell finds commands. When you add a directory to the path, the shell knows to look in that directory for any executable files when you type a command. Any script or executable file that... Okay, so in that... So, okay, I think I see what's going on. I think it's just saying that that location, that path, I don't want to use that word path, that location, that directory contains script files. And when I type a command like Python or hello.sh, the shell will look in all of those locations, which I said possibly contain commands. If it finds one, if it finds it searches all of those directories, all of those file or folders. If one of them matches, has an executable in it that matches that word, it runs that command. Awesome. So you do not need to explicitly do that because instead I'm adding the location which hello script lives in. So final question. Why do some commands need to have the .sh after them and others don't? For example, when I run Python, all I need to type is Python 3. I don't need to type python3.sh. Okay. The difference in whether a command requires the extension sh or not depends on several factors, including how the command is named, how it's recognized by the shell, and conventions followed by different commands. So, naming conventions and shell behavior. Scripts. Shell scripts often have the sh extension to indicate that they are shell scripts. Okay. Python utilities. Many command line utility programs like Python 3 don't require extensions. So it's a utility, not a command. So there's some difference here. And recognized executable names. So Python 3 is a program and doesn't need sh. Okay. All right. Well, I think for today we are going to leave it at this. So I am going to be making more videos in the upcoming future where we're actually going to start trying to actually use that VA grant. We're going to create that virtual environment. We are going to see how we actually run this project, how we get it working, whatever that means. And that's going to be in the upcoming few videos. I hope that you guys enjoyed this one here. If you did, subscribe. That would be amazing. I would love it. And I hope you guys have a wonderful rest of the day. My name is Timothy Lee Grant, and I will see you guys. I still haven't done a leak code video, so I need to do another leak code video by tonight. So I'm going to be creating another video tonight, leak code. And then in the future, I'll be doing more videos where I go on this JOS, and hopefully we will be able to make some good progress. We definitely made some good learning today. I learned a ton. Hopefully you did as well. And that's the point of these videos, is not to get this isn't work, right? It's not where our purpose is to make it successful. The purpose right now is to learn as much as we can, so that way when we're at work we are successful. Okay, so today was a wonderful day. Got a lot done, got a lot learned. Hope you guys got a lot learned as well, and I will see you guys later. See ya.